Hi, my name is Brian Vargo, and I'm the owner of Vargo Outdoors. And I wanted to demonstrate the Triad alcohol stove. It's a titanium alcohol stove, and I just want to give you a few pointers on how to use this stove. Basically, one of the first things you want to do when you use the Triad stove is to actually push the legs, and usually I make the legs straight on the bottom. Then I actually push it into the ground like this, and that makes a really stable stove. One of the most common mistakes I see out in the field is people have a tendency to put a stove like the Triad or the Triad XE on a table, and the stove, when you go to put your pot on, you could upset it. It makes it a little more precarious than if you actually anchor it in the ground. So I really highly recommend that you anchor the stove into the ground. What you want to do then is use an alcohol fuel bottle, something like this, something that has a flip-top cap or maybe a sport cap, something that pulls up like this. And the purpose of that is so that you can actually squirt the alcohol into the center of the stove like this. And with the Triad stove, you want to fill it up to the point that you have a small pool of alcohol in the middle, about the size of a dime, or possibly a little bit more. You fill it up all the way like this. Probably the first or second time that you try to light the stove, you'll probably either underfill it or overfill it, so don't be discouraged. Try it a few times, you'll get the hang of it. Once it's full, it's a little bit more. Once it's full, what you do is you take your match, light the stove like this, and it's really dangerous to try to add more alcohol as the stove is burning. So you always want to make sure, if you do need to add alcohol, that the stove is actually 100% out. One thing I've heard of is people actually thinking that the flame is out because it's really difficult to see the flame, and then go and try to pour more alcohol into the stove, and what will happen is the flame will actually go back up into your fuel bottle and it will explode. So you got to be really careful about that. As soon as you light the stove, you can go ahead and put your pot on top like this. It will take about 30 seconds to a minute or so for the stove to prime. And what's happening, if you haven't used an alcohol stove before, is the flame will heat up the alcohol so that it starts to vaporize. And once it does that, within, like I said, 30 seconds to a minute, the flame will actually go from the center and expand to the outside ring, if you can see the little holes here, and then the stove will actually light up and burn to full capacity. So this is as you can see, it's actually lit right now. So this is the Vargo Triad stove. Thank you very much.